Okay. Okay. Hayom Yom. Zion Nissan. Excuse me. Okay, the first little piece is an annotation about in the Siddur. In the Siddur, in the series of things we say after the Torah is taken out, by Yehibin Usar Ha'arin, they lifted up the Aron. It says that V'irchson kol amcho beis Yisrael. It lists the praises that are praises of Hashem, and it adds at the end, and according to the will of kol amcho beis Yisrael. That's all he tells us. I have not found a pirush of this, so the only pirush I have is my own, and I'm saying it's my own. That this last language, V'ritzoin kol amcho Yisrael, indicates that we, the Jewish people down here below, little klein folk that we are, we have the power to lift up and affect God's will, in addition to the malachim and the other things which are mentioned there. We're added according to the will of the people Israel. Then the text of the Yomim, the Alter Rebbe's family name was Berachovich. In other words, the Alter Rebbe took the name of his father for his family name. His father's name was Baruch. The Mittler Rebbe's family name was Shneuri. The Mittler Rebbe, the son of the Alter Rebbe, took the name of Shner Zalman as his family name. And the Tzemach Tzedek's family name was Shner's son, which literally means the son of Shner, but of course the Tzemach Tzedek was not the son of Shner, he was the son-in-law. Nevertheless, these are the names. And do with it what you will. Okay. Refuah Shleimus. Baruch Hashem, everybody's well.
Huh? Elko, right. Oh. Baruch Hashem. Elko Rachel Bas Eliezer and Baruch Benjamin ben Rachel Lima and Shoshana Bas Hana, Yehuda Golda Bas Eliezer Hana, and Hava Daniela Bas Naomi Hana. Hinda Yehuda Bas Kaylee.
Tavor Rachel Bat Shava.
Shlema.
Man.
Lessons in Tanya. Continuing our story about kavana. Good to know where this is. Okay. Page 570. It's after bold words called end of note. We finished the Hagah note yesterday, and we're starting the piece right after that. Ubezeh Yuvin, where this will be understood, on page 570. And in Likutei Moharan, we're here. We're on page Nun Hey. There are short lines to the left of which is the long footnote we did yesterday. And it's the third of those small lines. Ubezeh Yuvin. And with this will be understood.
Hetiv.
Ubezeh Yuvin. I didn't say it yet. Relax. Ubezeh Yuvin.
The phrase, it's a phrase. I'm sorry, that's my Ivrit showing. I'm sorry, I didn't know I wasn't muted. I was saying it to myself.
Well, you were muted, but I don't know what happened. Ubezeh Yuvin. With this will be understand. Hetiv. Wow. Thank you. But what I was pausing to say, what is this? What is this that we're understanding? This we're understanding is the kavanas that we have two levels of kavanas, natural kavana, coming the natural love and fear, and intellectual or meditative love and fear. And we're focusing on those two primary midos, ava, the yira. And focusing on those, we will understand Haiti well, having focused on those two, we'll understand well. That which fear and love are called two wings. And this is a mashal that I've used many times, but here is where the Tanya says it. They're called two wings in the Zohar. They're mashal, by way of example, to the Kasiv as it's written in Isaiah. And I'll read you the pasuk here in Isaiah. It says this is, by the way, in chapter 6, Isaiah, verse 1 and 2. It's in verse 2. In the year of King Uzziah's death, Yeshaya has a vision. He sees the Hashem, the Lord, sitting upon a high and lofty throne. In the Kabbalah, generally, there are two visions of the throne. There's the vision of Yechezkel and the vision of Isaiah. Isaiah is a higher and less detail. Because it's higher, there's less detail, right? There's more all-inclusiveness, so it's less detail. Yechezkel is the one we usually cite, where there was the vision of the rider and then the three animals on the chariot. But this is Yechezkel's vision. And in his vision, Seraphim, which are higher level angels, were standing above at God's service. And here's each one had 6 wings. With 2, the angel would cover its face, both wings folded over its face. With 2, it would cover its legs, and with 2, it would fly. And it's this latter pair of wings that the Zohar is speaking about, these 2 wings, B'shtayim ya'ohev, back inside. With the 2 wings, it would fly, the angel would fly. Rachayim Vital, who was the scribe, the writer, the giving over one of the Arizal's Torah, B'shahar Yehudim Perek Yud Aleph, Shehakanfim, the wings, the oif of the bird, en zuroyas, they're the arms of the bird. And they would correspond to the arms of a person. And the 10 spheros, right? The 10 spheros are diagrammed as not a shape of a bird, but of a shape of a man. Abad, Bagas, Nahim. And in that shape, the 2 arms, the right arm is love, the left arm is fear. And these 2 wings, these 2 midos, the activation of these 2 midos, and the balancing of them, right? Because the bird flies with a very careful, if you just look in the sky, very careful balance and interoperation of right and left. And we spoke about one of those interoperations yesterday. We spoke about Gevura Shebechesed, where a person, because of love for a child, will do anything to save the child. And if the child is walking into the street, we'll use the Gevura to bring them back. So there's a careful balance of these father and mother midos, love and fear. And these correspond to the 2 arms of the figure of the Adam, who is the Adam Kadma, the primordial visage of man, which is the image of God. Ubetikunim, and in the section of the Zohar called the Tikunim, Pirish, he explains, that one who occupies oneself in Torah mitzvahs, with love and fear, nikroim banim, are called children. The imlav, and if not, we're called afuruchim, which are chicks. In other words, not capable of yet flying. As he says, because it's Zohar adds its written, they're not able to fly. So that's the Torah of today. That's the Tanya today, but there's a long footnote which we will now go into. Well, I'll pause for a minute because I want to take a drink, but any questions on this so far?
Well, it's strange because if you could fly, you're called a Adam, and if you can't fly, you're called a chick. Adams can't fly.
Well, you're not an Adam. You're a small child. The metaphor is a bird. And a bird, it's a mature bird.
If they learn Torah, but they're called banim.
You're right.
In other words, like sons, I guess.
Yeah. your sons. You're now taking on the education, the chinuch of the father. Before that, you're not yet got the right balance. It's just mixing the metaphor.
Yeah, they're mixing the metaphor.
It's mixing the metaphor, that's all. But it's the same idea. They're just like the chick grows into a bird, the small child grows into a son and then a man. And
but Banim is not a full-grown man.
No, Adam is a full-grown man when there's a full-grown balance between the two.
But he's saying they are called Banim. No, but he's saying if you do have the Chila v'Rachim, you're called Banim. And if you don't have the Chila v'Rachim, you're called Efrachim.
These are the arms of a person, right? These are the arms of the person. We'll say it again. You're called Banim LaHashem Elokecha, right? That's your children to Hashem. And if not, you're called a chick, mixing the metaphor of the bird, the early state of the bird. Okay. Ubetikun memches, memhe, I can't quite say memhe. And in the Zohar, the Tikkunim. Wait a minute before we go on. Reza, you have a hand up. Go ahead.
Just because I think Elisheva brought up something that we could think about.
I'm sure.
There is a metaphor of flying. Now, I always thought of it as the mitzvah is rising. Like the mitzvah has wings. If you can imagine different mitzvahs with wings on them.
Well, the metaphor here is that the person has wings. But go ahead. The mitzvah flies up.
The mitzvah flies up, but the person rises. And yes, a person can, there's some aspect of a person that can rise, that can fly.
Yeah, sure.
So that's something that's like right here and now.
That's what we're saying. If you are
right
a person.
Right here and now, a mitzvah has the power to help you rise above your situation.
If the mitzvah is done b'dechila b'rachimai.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
Yes. That's truthfully what we've been saying in the whole parsha. I mean, the whole chapter. Intentionality, remember? Intentionality, natural or intellectual, brings the mitzvah up either to the world of Yetzirah, in the world of Yetzirah, or to the world of Bria. That's what we've been saying the last few days. It brings the mitzvah
and the person up.
Okay. You got it. Okay. What? No, it's a chiddush. It raises everything up. It raises the whole creation up, not only the person. But here we're focusing just on this little metaphor that with the right intentionality, everything gets lifted up. And without it, and without the right balance, by the way, it also doesn't get lifted up. Okay. Ubetikin memhe, it says, this is Zohar, the oifa, this bird, he matat. Now, matat is a shorthand for an angel that lives primarily in the world of Yetzirah. His long name is Metatron. And Metatron embodies. He's a structure of energies, which embodies the 6 midos of the world of Yetzirah. And these 6 midos of Yetzirah can fly up the whole body, back to what you're saying, both of you, the whole body of the person, of this angel, flies up at designated times and special times into the world of Bria. So that's the matat. So the Haggadah is telling us that this bird, which is called matat, Reish delay is, now we're going to layer on this notion of the 2 wings and the head and then the feet. We're going to layer that on to the Yud Kei Vav Kei. So the Reish delay, this is the Zohar, right? This is all quote from the Zohar. The head of this angels, or the head of us, who are called Banim LaHashem Elokecha, right? Now that you've put this metaphor, nicely on the table. The head is the letter Yud. Yud. Vagufa, and the body is the Vav, right? You could visualize that, I hope. The Tren Gadfin, and the two wings are the two Heys, the first Hey and the second Hey. So we are lifting up the Shem Havaya with our intentionality. Not are we lifting up not only the mitzvahs, right, which we do, that's the simple meaning we've been learning as we've been approaching this, that the mitzvahs fly up through our intentionality. So the whole structure of the six midos flies up. The six midos here are here articulated as an angel or as the envisionment of God himself in the Yud Kei Vav Kei. And the Yud Kei Vav Kei rises up level after level after level. V'hainu Olam HaYetzirah. So it starts this matat, his home base, so to speak, is Olam HaYetzirah. And remember, Olam HaYetzirah was mitzvahs with natural kavana. Shenikra matat. Just hold on a second. There's a lot of background chirping here. Thank you. So this matat, uboy, and in him, in it, in the world of Yetzirah, Hein Gadfe halachas is the body of halachas, Sheba Mishnah, which are brought down in the Mishnah. So the Mishnah, Talmud is Babriya, and Mishnah is in Yetzirah. This is the body of halakha. It's the lower world, because the Mishnah articulates very succinctly what the halacha is. And it's either Beis Shammai, side of Chesed, side of Gevurah, or Beis Hillel, side of Chesed, the two primary midos. So that's articulated in the body of halachas of the Mishnah. V'reisha delay, in the head of it, the head of this world, the head of the Mishnah, where the midos are coming from, right? Moyach shalot ala lev, the head rules over the midos. In hamoichin, that's the head. Ubechinas Chabad, that's the head which rules over the heart, which is here in this metaphor for the primary two midos. And the Chabad rules over the Chabad, which is Shehen Penimis HaHalachas, the innerness, what's driving the halachas, the Soidoin and their foundation, Utamehim and their reasons. So that's the Chabad, that's the Yud of the Shem Havaya. The Tren Gadfin and the two wings of the Shem Havaya. So now again, just metaphorically, where Shem Havaya is now a person, right? Or Shem Havaya is a bird with a head, two wings, and a feet, with Chabad, Chagas, Nahim. And so the halacha, and so Vatamehim, the reasons B'trein Gadfin and the two wings, the Chila B'rachimai, which are fear and love, Hein He'eloah, the upper Hey, Shehi Rachimai, which is love, the Hey Tata, the lower Hey, the other wing, again, Chesed, the right wing, and then the lower wing, secondary, Gevurah, which is Hey Tata, Yira Tata, is the lower level of fear. And here he gives us, and I know many times we say, what exactly upper level of fear and lower level of fear? Here he gives us one of many, but a clear definition, one clear definition. So Yira Tata, what is the lower level of fear? In fact, this I think was asked yesterday or the day before. How do we define the difference between lower fear and upper fear? So here is a definition. Yira Tata, lower level of fear is oil malchus shemayim, taking upon oneself the yoke of the kingdom of heaven, which results in pachad Hashem, having a fear of the king, meaning I live with a certain amount of trepidation. And I mean, I've used the meta before, the trepidation that a fish would have if he were known that they were going to take him out of water. He would be afraid of that because that would be separating him, the fish, from the life force. Then there's the trepidation that knowing that if you don't do the will of the king, there will be, quote, consequences. Now, the consequences are sometimes expressed as einish, and this is sometimes called yirish einish, fear of punishment. In Chabad, mostly it's yiras chet, the fear of sinning, as opposed to yiras einish. But there is a certain negativity negative force. And again, what's the negative force? That you're being separated from your life source. And therefore, one is mamish afraid of that. The pachad hamelach. And that's having fear of the king, derech mashal. Shehir yirah hasoinius. And this level, which we called yirah tato, is an external aspect of yirah. Yirah tato v'niglis. It's a lower level, and it's revealed. It's operating. It's the most basic level of fear. It's revealed. Masha'en ken yirah elah, higher level, using the same word, but the upper level. I mean yirah, that word yirah, the upper level. Yirah boishes. That's called yirah boishes, fear which is associated literally with shame. That comes from the hidden levels of Hashem. And this is, I've described it as the feeling of being totally insignificant, but in a positive way. Insignificant, not being oppressed and stepped upon, but feeling one's the awesomeness of God and the insignificance of myself. As I said many times, I've quoted this Maimer Chazal from, not a Maimer Chazal, a Maimer of one of the Polish Hasidim, whose name I don't know, and whose name wasn't known by the one who gave this over to me, that the way of holding on to this is that a person has to hold himself totally low and totally strong. This is the strength of giving oneself away totally. This is a function of Chokhmah, because Chokhmah, I'm just saying this now externally, Chokhmah, remember, Koyach is Chokhmah me'ayin timotze. Chokhmah comes from the ayin. So Chokhmah has a vision or an experience or some sense, whatever you want to call it, of the reality of that which is beyond intellect and beyond anything. And that sense of experiencing the beyond makes me feel tiny in the face of the greatness of all of that. And that's a function of Chokhmah Allah, which is the Yud of the Shem Havaya, Baruch Hu Kamishakasa B'Raya Mahemna, as is written in the Zohar. And that's today's Tanya. Reza, right up there. Go. You there? Well,
close your eyes when you say Shema, because you want to connect with this.
Yeah, well, that's why you close your eyes, because it's invisible, ineffable, and grand and unbelievable. It's beyond sight. Yep. That's called Yirah Ilah, the higher level of fear, which I can correctly translate more like awe, because it's awesome. All right. Any questions? Other comments?
Yeah. Over Shabbos, I was thinking about that thing of the negative and positive results of mitzvahs. We had talked about, I had that question about if it's for a reward, not for an honor, but for a reward. Right. Does that make it negative? And we said, yeah, probably negative. But afterward, I was thinking about it, and that didn't kind of totally make sense for a couple of reasons. I was thinking of, first of all, in the Shema, where it says, if you do the right thing, you'll get the rains, and you'll get this and that, So that Hashem is.
What do you mean you'll get the rings? What do you mean?
Rains. The rains will come in the proper time.
Oh, you mean there is reward?
Yeah. So that's that's stating reward for doing the right thing, for doing the mitzvahs. So that is one, right. In that aspect doesn't seem negative. Mm-hmm. And also, just in davening generally, you just ask for stuff. Right. All the stuff you want that's elaborated on it in the Shemona Esrei. Mm-hmm. So in light of those things, it makes me revisit this idea of whether it's negative when you do the mitzvahs wanting a reward.
For selfish reasons, right?
Right.
I hear you. That's good. That's a good point.
So
I'm with you.
I don't know.
No, it's a good point. There's obviously farmers pray for rain, right? But you could take it all one step further. And the one step further is, why are you praying for rain? You're praying for rain so you'll have crops. Why are you praying for crops? So you'll be able to live. And then, why are you able to live? For your own pleasure or for serving Hashem? So you could take it back. Ultimately, it goes back to Lishma. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
I guess you could say that about anything, about good health and about.
But you could say something other. You could say, I'm not praying for the crops for the reason I said. I'm praying for the crops because I like to eat. And when I feel, and when I eat and I have strength, I can go and party. So it depends ultimately what your kavana is in praying for these things. And ultimately your kavana is either lishma or not lishma.
I don't know. It seems like a bit of a stretch. Seems like a bit of a stretch.
I am stretching it. I'm stretching it to the ultimate. You're right. Okay.
I think it's a matter of consciousness.
That's what it is. Exactly.
That we are ultimately doing everything for Hashem, but we're not always conscious of it. Like a little kid who's a toddler, and his Rebbe is teaching him the Aleph Beis, and he's not conscious of the importance of it or that it matters to him at all. As far as he's concerned, the toys matter way more than Aleph Beis.
Right. Or when he gets a little older, the mark on the test is what matters to him. Right. Another little
he has no idea
the
depth and significance of literacy and what would
But ultimately, God willing, he will. And then he'll look back on this and say, all those prayers, all that Aleph Beis, all that steiging was to do the will of my Father in heaven. And that's the ultimate purpose. God willing. We'll all realize that today. Rosa, back again or left over from before?
Yes. I just wanted to say that there's something here like that where all of us bringing out. Like when we ask ourselves, is it Lishma or not? But then Hashem put us in the physical world. Even the Seder. Like we're going to have a Seder in a week. Why is it around our dining room table? Hashem could have said, stay in shul and just, Yom Kippur.
Okay, but that I think we've covered pretty much, because he wants this physical world and everything in it to manifest his glory, to make a dwelling place for it.
It has to be that it's doable.
It is. So that's why we use physical things. And we don't just stay in shul and pray. We're elevating all of those things.
That's what we're learning, but it has to be that what we're learning is meant for us to do, not just like that would be nice. That's all I'm saying.
Lasoisam, ayim lasoisam, to do. Elisheva, you're back?
Yeah, we started out with Kikora.
Wait a minute. Elisheva's hand is up.
I just have a little technical question in the Haggadah that we learned. So first it says that the two hays are one, Yira and Ahava, or the way he says it, Rechimu. The first hay is Rechimu, and the other hay is Yira. But then he says those same two hays. The first one is Yira Ilah, and the second one is Yira Tata. Come here.
Not those two hays. The first one is love. The second one is Yira, and Yira has two dimensions.
Oh, so the two dimensions of Yira are the second hay, both the second hay.
Yes, exactly. Right.
Oh, okay.
The panemius and the chitzonius of the hay. Pesha Rivka, I think you were coming up.
All I wanted to recall is that the Tanya starts out Kikor v'lecha hadavar meod.
Yeah.
That it's not only possible, it's what we're created for, what we do.
Right. Right. Lasoisim, to do them. And the reason it's Kor v'lecha hadavar meod because we have it built in. And we have built in all kinds of various, I mean, really, he's citing 3 levels, loy lishma, mamish, ulterior motives, or loy lishma, just flat, or lishma. But that's all built in within us, and it's quarter v'lecha, it's near and dear and close, and we're capable. I always recur responsible. You can't be given a responsibility, really, if you're not capable of achieving it. And we have this responsibility, we have this capability, and it's korev. Korev means close, but also means kirbayim. This is expression in Chassidus. Kirbayim are intestines. It's in our gut. It's built in to be lecha, to come close to Hashem.
Right. So that's how we're created. And basically, if we just get out of our own way, it's much easier.
Yep. But that itself is not so
That's
easy.
A big job. Yeah, it's a big job. But easy to say.
Right.
Well, we must be doing something right. I mean, I missed yesterday, but is everyone as drunk
of
as
course.
I am over this open miracle?
No, come on, we are absolutely doing something right.
The whole world is talking about. Oh my God! I mean, I'm just, I don't know. I'm still drunk from it.
Don't say, but we must be doing. Of course, we're doing something right. We may not, each of us or all of us, doing at the highest level of perfection, right? We're not all tzaddikim gemorim, but this. Oh, now I can say with more certainty our yom yom today about the Jewish people. The Jewish people are at it. We create Hashem's will, and through our doing this, what we're doing now here, in whatever way we're doing it, just we're stumbling, God. We're not tzaddikim, but we're trying with all of our guts and putting even our bodies on the line. Of course, we're doing something right, and we're seeing the results. Absolutely, and we will see the lasting results. Begeula shlema bekodev mamish mamish.
Amen.
Amen.
Just to protect all of our chayolim. That's the main thing.
Amen.
And they're protected. Thank God. Okay. Toda.
Over and out till tomorrow. Very nice. Bye-bye.